Welcome to a Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Dance with Dragons, chapters 4, 5, and 6. Bran, Tyrion, and the Merchant's Man. In these chapters, we're going on a trip in our favorite palanquin, zooming through the lies.
Little Tyrion eyes.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. So, Harmit, who died in these chapters?
Dude, there were so many people they kept talking about dying.
Okay, can you just give, like, vibe?
Okay. Okay, let me just think. In Bran's, there was, like, people from the Night's Watch, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the vibes. And then in, oh god, who was next? Who did we read? Tyrion. In Tyrion's, I don't really remember anyone dying in Tyrion's.
I don't think anybody died. We might have heard of somebody having died, but we'll come across it. Yeah.
And then in Quentin's, hello! Quentin's chapter, there was definitely deaths. I just can't seem to remember who it was. Hold on, what even happened in his chapter?
He talks about how, like, half the people that came on the journey with him died. There was the maester, there was one of his other friends, and I don't remember any of the names right now, but mostly them, I think.
Yes, his people. Yeah, I think that's kind of it.
Oh, in Tyrion's, they talk about Illyrio's second wife dying. Like ages ago.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sure.
Well, I'm just trying to think about death. You know, that's how we start every episode. It's a great omen for a Dothraki wedding.
Please. Oh my god. It's a little tradition of ours.
Yeah, I mean, it is. So, like...
Yeah. No, but, like, we've gone from who died in these chapters to, like, any mention of death, someone dying ever, like...
Right. Okay, so, how did you feel about these chapters? You weren't, like, super into the last couple chapters. You were like, these were bummers. Were these bummers?
No, I had a good time. Tyrion's chapter just kind of felt the same as last time. Like, similar vibes. So I was like, this is chill. This is cool. It was basically like his chapter last time, except he was doing more and dwelling less, which was good for me. And then Quentin's chapter was fun, new character, new vibes, everything. I'm kind of neutral on him. I don't really feel any sort of way towards him yet. He's definitely different than what I thought he would be.
What were you expecting?
I don't even know why. Like, I don't know, I just expected him to be more like, yeah, bro, can't wait to get this bag, you know? But he's a little bit more like, okay, sure, but is she gonna love me? Like, you know, like, he's a bit more scenty than I thought he would be. And he's also, like, he's just more chill than I thought he would be.
Okay.
As well. Anyway, yeah, like, I guess I just am so used to, like, the brothers in this series being annoying, like, you know?
Right.
I was expecting some annoying energy, but, like, he was chill, but, like, I also didn't, like, instantly take to him. Like, he was cool. I had a good time. And then, who did we have? Oh, Bran. It was nice to see Bran again after, like, so long. And his chapter was very interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Well, why don't you summarize these chapters for us real quick, the best you can? No pressure.
Oh, God. Okay.
But all the pressure. In 3, 2, 1, Bran.
Okay, Jojen's not feeling well, cold hands, oh my god, is this even a guy? Oh my god, he's undead in some way, but, like, he's Bran's monsters, whoa. Did anything else? He goes into Summer a few times, he goes into Hodor, boo. People, then, he, like, the dude goes away, cold hands goes away, and then, like, gets him and his, like, crows to, like, kill, not crows, ravens.
Switch.
I totally
Tyrion.
forgot about that until the end. Tyrion. Okay, they basically just have a conversation the whole time, riding in the palanquin, you know, and like they're just kind of talking about, like where he's gonna go, what they're up to. He's on the way to Volantis, and Illyrio's like, give Dany my best, and they're just kind of like plotting. I don't really remember the specifics. Yeah.
Okay. Switch.
Okay. Wait.
Quentin.
Thank you. Quentin. Okay, we meet Quentin. Quentin is in Volantis looking for a ship or something to marine. His people are died off. And they're trying to think of a way to get there, but like the guy doesn't want to go on the ship because he's like, I'm sick, or like I get sick, but then he's like, walking is too slow. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna do something really unethical and go.
Cool. Well, that was, yeah, you got it, I guess.
Oh my god.
Okay. So, Bran.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let me summarize Bran's chapter, okay?
Okay.
Like, not summarize, but just like the
Yeah.
bullet points of the chapter, okay?
I literally,
So,
dude, this is the problem with 3 chapters. My brain doesn't, it's too much to wrap around.
no, I just want to like streamline
Yes.
our recording so that I'll say the important bits and then we can fill in any thoughts and feelings, okay?
Okay.
So basically, it's a long way going. They're beyond the wall and it's cold and it's depressing, but they've got this kind of like raven guard that's surrounding them at all times. They've got like raven lookouts and then ravens that like guard them at night. So that's cool. And of course, Cold Hands is there and he's undead and they don't like him, but they don't have any other option. So that's what they're doing. And Bran is doing the whole like, because it's so boring and miserable being in his own body that he is like, I'm just gonna be Summer all the time. So he like is in Summer more and more, and it's just like second nature. It's like first nature also almost for him. And then when he gets bored of Summer, he goes into Hodor.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, Hodor is having the worst. I feel so bad for him in these chapters.
Yeah.
So listen, okay. Cold Hands and the Reeds, they're riding on the elk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Poor Hodor is just walking, and not just walking, he is carrying Bran.
Yeah.
And then, like, as he's trudging through this cold and misery, Bran's going it like invading his mind, and like he doesn't know what's happening, and it's just like it happens at random times and he can't do anything about it, and it's just the worst thing ever. I was like it every time I read it and come across it, it's horrible, but like in this chapter I was like ready to fight. Like you know, like on behalf of Hodor. I did not enjoy having all this done to him.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going, and then Bran is like, oh, I know he tells himself, oh, it's okay, he doesn't really mind, he knows it's me, he tells himself, but like every time, like it does not get any better for Hodor. Like maybe he isn't as outwardly protesting, but it's just as horrible on the inside. So that's a major part. And then at one point, they are being followed, and it turns out that they're being followed by people. So Cold Hand goes to take care of them, and he doesn't tell them who these people are. But later, when Bran goes into Summer, sorry, I was going to say Summer goes into Bran, but it was the other way around. He finds that the people that he killed were Nightsmen, like Night's Watch people, and that's not great. But also, when he goes and finds these bodies to feast on, he comes across these wolves, which are very obviously Varamir and his wolves. Did you not get that?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, well,
like,
spoilers.
Not spoilers. I just like wasn't quite paying attention, I think.
Okay, well, yeah.
No, because when I started Brands, I was like, hey, time crunch. Like, there were descriptions that I 100% fast forwarded through.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, and
hey,
it's
wow.
just,
I really did not register that. Okay, so they dead, like we know for sure now.
Yeah. The other thing that's happening that's kind of important or like noteworthy is that Jojen is like deteriorating by the moment.
He's not having a good time.
Like, he was never the healthiest of kids, but now he's just like barely holding on, and he's not eating even like the meager meals that they can get together. And yeah.
I have a theory.
Oh, okay. Give me your theory right now.
Okay. Jojen is a seer.
Right.
And the three-eyed crow is apparently, according to Cold Hands, like the best seer, or the only seer left.
Jojen has green dreams. I don't know if he's a seer. I think there's like slight differences.
Okay.
Don't ask me what they are, but I think
cool.
there are.
But it is different. Okay, that makes sense to me. I just assumed it was like a difference in ability. Like Jojen was like level 1 and the crow was like level 10 expert vibes. But I think that the way that the crow is keeping itself, the only green seer, is by disposing of people like Jojen. I know it's very far-fetched. I just needed something fun to predict in this chapter.
This is like way darker and on like somehow on theme than I was expecting.
Stop. Yeah, anyway, and even if it's not that, I do think that there's like something, or maybe it's like Cold Hand, like there's some sort of, also because there's a lot of moments in this chapter where Mira's like, the fuck? Cold Hands, the fuck? This whole situation, and like she's kind of done with it, and then Jojen every time is like very not defensive about it, but he's very much on the side of like, we have to listen to Cold Hands, what other option do we have? And like, I don't really remember Bran's previous chapters. Like, I don't quite remember what their dynamic was, so I can't compare mentally.
With Cold Hands?
No. With Mira and Jojen. Like, the way that they are with each other. Like, I don't remember if this was, like, I just don't remember, like, what their dynamic was like. So I don't know if it was always, like, because from what I sort of recall is that Jojen was the one who was more reluctant to go on this mission, and Mira was more like, let's do this. And now it almost seems to have flipped a little bit.
No, I don't think that's true. Because Jojen is the one who has, like, the green dreams, and he was like, okay, Bran, the three-eyed crow is where you gotta be, and he's beyond the wall, so we gotta go there.
Okay, so I guess maybe then they were just fighting over, like, logistics, like, how to do stuff. Because I do remember them, like, you know, siblings disagreeing how to go about sort of thing. But I don't know, it just feels like, I don't know, just the way that he was, like, sort of, like, unfazed as he was becoming so sickly, and then Mira kept protesting, and, like, he kept being like, no, it's fine, I don't know, it just, like, I don't know, like, if it's not that, like, his powers are being sucked out, I don't know, like, is he hypnotized? Like, I don't know, it just felt weird, I think, and maybe I'm clocking something that's not even there, but that's just kind of what I got, you know?
Right. Okay.
So that's what kind of is making me come up with wild theories to explain.
Definitely something to keep an eye on, because, like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Speaking of life being drained out, I don't know, we weren't really speaking of that, but, you know, it feels like Jojen's life is slowly draining out.
Yeah.
Cold Hands, they, like, definitely come to the conclusion this chapter that he is dead.
Yeah.
And at first they're just observing him, like, he's got these black hands, and then they never see his breath in the air, like, it's super cold, how is that? And then they just ask him, like, eventually when he returns later, like, what's the deal with your hands? And he's like, well, you see, when somebody dies, their blood congeals in their extremities, and then they become black.
Dude.
And yeah, you know, like, he's not hiding the fact that he's undead.
Yeah.
But he is definitely hiding his identity. Like, we can't see his face.
Yeah,
like,
at one point someone's like, she's like, take your mask off. Even after he tells them that he's dead, she's like, okay, then take your mask. And, like, that's the one thing he refuses to do. Yeah. Even after telling them.
Yeah. That's the, who are you? You're a monster. No, I'm your monster, Bran Stark. And that's like, yeah.
Dude.
I remember reading this theory on Reddit or something somewhere that somebody was like, oh, he didn't say your like Y-O-U-R. He said your as in U apostrophe R-E. And it's Bran Stark that's the monster. And like getting really like semantic about it.
Stop. Like,
but I'm like, would that have been written how?
Yeah, George R. R. Martin would have found a different way to write that if that's what he meant. Like, it could have been like, he could have said like, Bran Stark, monster, and then he bows or something, so then you were like, oh, is he talking about himself or is he talking about Bran Stark? Like,
Right.
George R.R. Martin wouldn't have made a grammatical mistake on purpose, like, to illustrate that, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. No, you know, I did have a wild moment too where I read that, like, and I couldn't remember what their uncle's name was, and I was like, oh, was his name Bran? And then I was like, no, his name was Benjen. So then maybe it's like, your monster.
Well, he did have an uncle who was Brandon Stark.
But that uncle's, like, way, way dead. Like, that would be wild. And he got, like, burnt, right? By, like, Eris and his homies. Yeah.
I think he was the one who was hanged while he tried to save his dad from burning. Like,
right, something like that.
There's that whole evil contraption that Eris thought up,
yes,
you know?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, but I forgot Benjen's name, and I was like, oh my god, if it's Brandon, that's him revealing his identity without revealing his identity, you know? Like, but then...
I mean, if Brandon's dead and now this is undead, it is possible.
Ain't no way he made... How did he get here from King's Landing? Let's be so for real.
All right. Okay. I mean, I think his body is entombed in Winterfell, so it wasn't as much of a trek as you think, but still, we'll see. Yeah, and one of the things that's interesting is, like, they're asking themselves why, like, if this three-eyed crow is so eager to meet you and wants you, why didn't he come to the wall? Why send this guy? Crows have wings, and, like, nobody really knows.
Yeah, I don't know.
You sure don't.
I don't.
Yeah, and they pass, like, a bunch of villages. An interesting thing that they note is that a bunch of the villages have been burned down, and they think that it's the inhabitants that burned them themselves, so they wouldn't have the option to come back, which... It's giving, like, you know how Nymeria burnt the ship so that they wouldn't have the option to go back and they had to make Dorne their home?
Dude.
Yeah. So they're going. Cold Hands leaves them to, like, go deal with the people that are following them. And they're just told to keep going. Like, go follow this lake and find this village and huddle down. And they almost miss this village because everything is covered in snow. So huts just look like mounds, and mounds look like huts. Like, you never know what's what. But Summer can sense it, so that's how they get there.
Dude, they're just this, not having a good time. Like,
no, this is the most miserable thing.
Oh yeah, like, on our way to the wall, we were like, we could, like, exchange stories and have a good time, but, like, now, like, you know, Jojen's not doing good. Everyone's having their issues.
Yeah, nobody has the energy to be talking, and also there's a different kind of energy in the air that's deterring everybody from talking.
And also Summer, like, we haven't seen Summer since he got hit with that arrow. So now Summer's...
No, of course we have. We saw him at the episode at the chapter at the Night Fort.
Did we? Oh, wait, when did he...
He got hit when they were in the Gift.
Oh, okay. See,
trying to save Jon.
Oh, yes. Sorry. In my mind, that was the last chapter, but then I forgot we'd seen him again after that.
Yeah, we saw them at the Night Fort when Sam came through and was like, "Oh, Cold Hands is waiting for you." Like,
yes. Okay, yeah.
Super convenient that it worked out.
In my mind, them seeing Jon and then going to see Sam is same chapter. Forgot that was different.
Right. Yes. Different chapters. Anyway, so Summer's, like, limping a little, I think, right? From his wound. But he's overall okay. Like, I'm not too concerned for him right now. So they find shelter in this one, like, little hut, and there's not much there, but at least there's a roof and walls to keep the wind and snow out, so that's something. And Hodor just kind of huddles by the door and is, like, muttering Hodor, Hodor, Hodor all the time.
Aww.
And, like, I feel
bad for him.
Yeah, like, I wish he could communicate, but, like, if he could, it's a lot.
I'm also worried about, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me reading into things, but it seems like Summer wants to eat the elk. And, like, we need
definitely.
the elk. Like, we really need the elk.
Summer, every time Bran's in Summer, he's like, no, that's a friend. Let's not food.
Yeah.
So Bran tells Summer to go hunt, like, go, you know, find something on your own outside somewhere. Yeah. So Summer goes hunting, and this is when he comes upon the, like, I think is it 3 or few people that we later are confirmed that these are the ones that Cold Hands killed, because they've been, their throats have been slit, but also their eyes have been pecked out like by ravens.
Yeah.
So it's obvious that it's their doing.
Right.
And there's this pack of wolves there. There's this one-eyed wolf that's like the elder one that is not afraid of Summer at first, and they brawl it out. And obviously Summer wins because, come on, direwolf. But also there's this moment when their eyes meet, you know, like,
yes,
he does not fear me, though I am his size. Their eyes met. Warg. So like they like recognize each other.
Dude.
Because if you remember, Viramir went into this wolf at the end of the last chapter. So at the end of like the prologue.
Oh my god.
So,
see, I paid attention to this part and I was like, wonder who that is. Just wasn't like, oh, Viramir.
Not at all process anything.
That's so
yeah,
funny.
because there's him, there's like the younger wolf, and then there's the lady wolf, and
oh yes, oh god, I totally forgot about them. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so then like he subdues them, and then he's like, okay, they're now my pack, but then Bran in Summer's head is like, no, my pack is, you know, the Stark direwolves, not these ones.
Yes.
And so Summer feasts on the bodies of these dead men, and then once again, remember one of those rules that Viramir was talking about, how you're not supposed to eat the flesh of dead men, like flesh of men, and it's kind of like surrogate cannibalism happening here for Bran, and so
another rule that Bran broke.
Yeah. So then he wakes to himself, and like there's actually a fire and there's meat in the tent that he's in. And apparently this ranger found Cold Hands found a pig somewhere. I doubt that.
Yeah.
Are they like straight up eating people right here without knowing, or
but like did none of them just like think about that, like
I think it's one of those like, we're so hungry, we don't really want to know.
But I feel like Mira would have at least questioned it.
Yeah, and also like, once again, as somebody who does not eat meat, can you disguise like human meat as pig meat and without people knowing? Like, I don't know.
Not with their resources they got right now, I don't think. Like, not just with this. Like
what if if you strip it and all you see is like, it's just the muscles? Like, I don't know.
But it's still like, muscles are different, you know? Especially humans compared, like,
okay,
maybe you could confuse an animal for another, but like, I also feel like that's why I'm saying, like, I don't, like, did George R. R. Martin just like fuck up? Like, or is this supposed to be intentional? Because it just feels weird that like Mira wouldn't question it. That's the part that's weird to me. Like, Jojen seems to be under some sort of, he's not having a good time. Hodor ain't talking. Bran is just branning. But like Mira, I feel like, especially with how much she is like antagonizing Cold Hands in this chapter, like, I feel like she would have instantly been like, are you feeding us humans now? You know, like... Okay,
you know what? Fair enough. We will leave it at, this is pig meat.
Yeah.
And like, I've also, I think, said in the past, like, if we're ever stranded, feel free to eat me. Like, I don't really, like, have a super... Like, I'm not super against this, but I do want to, like, know.
Right. Know if this is what they've turned to. Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, so this is when like they eat, but then Bran confronts Cold Hands, is like, you killed them, you did that, and also, who are you? What are you? You're dead. And he's like, yeah, I am dead, so what? And then, who's this three-eyed crow? And what he says is, a friend, dreamer, wizard, call him what you will, the last green seer.
That's wild. So maybe that's also, like, maybe him being the last green seer is tied up in not being able to come get them. Like, you know, he's got to make sure he's safe, or maybe he can't move. Like, we don't know where he's at, right? Like,
Right.
Or even what form he's in. Like, I literally don't even know if this is a guy. I don't even know if this just is a crow, like, and we can't even communicate with him. Like, you know, like, what does this, I don't even know.
This is when there's like that spooky moment. The long hall's wooden door banged open. Outside, the night wind howled, bleak and black. The trees were full of ravens, screaming. Cold Hands did not move. A monster, Bran said. The ranger looked at Bran as if the rest of them did not exist. Your monster, Brandon Stark. Yours, the raven echoed from his shoulder. Outside the doors, the ravens in the tree took up the cry, until the nightwood echoed to the murderer's song of yours, yours, yours. It's just
literally, that
so
gave me chills. I was
spooky, yeah.
That was
like, I wish I were a
chilling.
better narrator, but you know.
Yeah, like that was this is like one of those things that, like, at least for me, like, I have a hard time reading horror. Like, I can't remember the last time that I read, like, a horror book, and that's because I just it's just too much for me. Like, you guys, when I read the ending of Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, to be fair, I finished that book at 4 a.m., which was on me. Like, I don't know why I started reading the ending at, like, 3 a.m., but I literally was like, I can't sleep. And that's not even horror, right? Like, that's just, like, dystopian, and, like, it had, like, the last scene was definitely horror, but, like, not completely the genre, right? But, like, I can watch anything horror, and mostly I'm just bored. And that, to me, is the difference between, like, really good writing and, like, really good, like, a really good depiction of something on the screen is, like...
I think our imagination can always dream up worse things than can be depicted on the screen.
I agree. And that's not like, oh my god, there's never been a good horror director, or there never been good horror actors. It's just, you're right, like, your mind can just always make it so much worse. And so I'm just like I was about to say, like, I want to see this in the show, but I already know that if it's shown, it's not gonna hit as much as it does here. So, like, there, like, a lot of the Bran stuff, I really want to, like, see. Like, you know, I wish I could have seen Bran's dream, but I guess those days are over. Unless they somehow build it in, like, later on or something. But, like,
right.
I don't know, like, you know, because, like we've said before, like, Bran has, like, the most, like, or one of the most fantasy-esque arcs. So it would just be fun to see, like, the spooky, scary skeletons, you know?
Yeah, that is what you would want from your high fantasy show, certainly.
The shade is crazy.
Okay, so, yeah, after this, Mira just turns to Jojen and is like, what should we do? Because, like, Jojen is, you know, the know-it-all. Not the know-it-all, but, like, he's the one who knows things in the situation.
Yeah.
And he's like, we have no choice. We go with Bran's monster or we die.
Yeah. See, there's that moment, and then earlier it's like, he's like, literally, as he's, like, she's like, dude, how can we keep going on? Like, why can't the crow just fly to us? He's like, we just keep going until we get there. And he's saying that, like, through coughing. Like, I just feel like some of these moments are so, like, is someone holding you against your will, or are you just really committed to this mission? You know, like, there's a little bit of, like, there's a description of, like, when Cold Hands is leaving them, and he's telling them the directions to get to the village before he leaves, like, Mira's kind of about to argue with him, but then Jojen's like, dude, just listen to him. He knows where he's going, you know? And, like, Bran kind of talks about how, like, south of the wall, he seemed to be so wise and, you know, knowing it all. But, like, now he's just, like, is just as lost, just as frightened. And I don't know, like, maybe this is just, like, you know, actually being there. It's like when you know the theory of something, and then when you go to do it, it's, like, infinitely more difficult. It might just be that, and also him being sick, but, like, I don't know, it just feels like there's more going on that we don't know about with him.
Right.
I just don't know what it would be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you had your theory. What was your the crow is taking him out because he can't have any more green seers?
Like, basically that, or it's like he's like testing him in some way or something, to be like, can you take over after I'm gone? I'm the last one, you know? Like, there's some sort of, like, there's something going on. I think.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so that is the end of the chapter. In terms of predictions, will they go with Bran's monster? Will they get to the three-eyed crow, or will they be like killed and deterred or like put on a different way? Or
I think
like, okay, do you think Cold Hands is actually working for the three-eyed crow, or is he duping them?
I think that he is. But I think that, like, there might be some sort of twist where, like, he is the three-eyed crow. Or, like, there is,
okay.
like... Or, like, if there is no three-eyed crow, like, maybe he was the one, like, who sent Bran a vision. Like, I don't know. Or, like, maybe it's not necessarily, like, I think that if there is a three-eyed crow, Cold Hands is working for them. But, like, it just might not be, like, a crow or a person in the way that we think it is. Like, it might be, like, some sort of group, like, some sort of... I don't know. Like, I just don't think that we're gonna find someone who's like, yeah, I warg into a crow and then I'm, like, a human. Like, because I guess, like, okay, so if this guy's a green seer, I don't think that he's also a warg. So then how is this person also a crow? Or is the
why not? Well, why can't you be a green seer and a org?
Because then I just feel like it would be part of the description, or it would have been laid out in that way. Like, we would have gotten something, like, we would have gotten a Jojen monologue back in book 3 telling us that you can be a green seer and a warg. Like, I feel like those crumbs would have been laid out if that's what was intended. Like,
I honestly, they might have been, though, Harmut, because that was a long time ago and we just might not remember.
Okay.
Because there is literally, I remember there being a chapter where Jojen, like, does lay it out, like, there's green dreams and then green seers and, like, those kinds of things.
Okay. Okay, wait, yeah, maybe you're right then. Okay. Yeah, so maybe you can.
And, like, all these ravens are communicating with him, like, are they just of their own initiative able to communicate, or are they being warged into to communicate with Cold Hands? Like,
right.
We don't really know.
Yeah, that's true. And if Cold Hands were to be the three-eyed crow, then that could also make sense that he's able to, like, you know, because if he could send Bran a vision,
be in the crows and be in the ravens and
yeah.
Okay, lots to ponder.
Yes.
So, are they ever gonna get to this three-eyed crow?
I think
whatever
so.
it is.
I'm choosing to be hopeful. We're getting there.
Okay.
Maybe
like anytime soon.
Maybe like one more chapter of this nonsense, and then Mira gets fed up.
Nonsense.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, one more chapter. Like,
and will they all make it? Like, given their dire situation?
Bro, I don't know if Jojen's making it. Like, let's be so for real. Boy is on the brink of death. Like, he's like, who was that guy that Cersei hired who wouldn't stop coughing and he was like doing his job?
Rosby.
Yeah. It's
Giles
giving that.
Rosby.
It very much is giving that to me.
Okay, but what about like Bran, Mira, Hodor, Summer?
They all make it. I'm choosing to believe they have to make it, bro. We can't split up the gang yet again. There was a cute little moment where Jojen was like, "This is not the day I die, sister, I promise you." And I was like, what if he does die today? That would be really devastating.
I mean, he's the green seer, green dreamer, so if anybody can prophesize, he would know.
Maybe he knows that he's about to die on this mission, and that's making him even, like, it's like knowing that, like, you know, the mind-body connection sort of vibe, so maybe that's fucking him up even more. Yikes. Dude, that's so true. Like, that would be one of the worst things about, like, being, like, someone who can do prophecies, or, like, being a green seer, and, like, all these things, because, like, having that knowledge is not good for you. Like, you're not meant to have that. So if you have that and, like, how to reckon with it, like, I don't know. That's why whenever someone's like, what superpower do you want? I'm like, I just want to fly, bro. Like, that's all I want. Yeah. You know? Just keep it simple. Get, like, a physical trait in here. Like, I don't need something that's gonna fuck with my mind.
Do you want to fly? Wait, you don't want to teleport? Hang on. I know we've had this. Okay.
No, I want to fly more than I want to teleport. Because when I was younger, I kind of wanted to be a bird. And that's really
nice.
That's more important to me than being able to get wherever I want, I think.
All right. Okay, cool.
Are these just like random, like, who have we sent out people? Oh wait, no, this was a while ago. So this could kind of be anyone, right? This could be people like escaping from Crasters. This could be like
yeah, it's hard to know.
Okay, Slate.
Bran isn't like that's John or anything like that, so
I sure hope not. Oh my god. Oh, there was an interesting moment where you know, like the moment of like the ranger killed a pig, like that moment. This is when they're still trying to figure out who Cold Hands is, and he's like, okay, he doesn't eat, and he fears the flames because he's like sitting farther away from the fire. And I'm like, okay, so if we need to destroy him because he's undead, it does make sense in keeping with the previous undead that we've met, that like maybe we can use the fire, like if he's actually afraid of this.
So like, if it turns out that Cold Hands is in fact bad news, they can use fire against him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, good note.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
So Tyrion and Illyrio are in fact going on a trip, and they're in this palanquin.
Please. And every single time we've said palanquin in this chapter, you and I have both said it a completely different way, and I think that's so funny.
It's a weird word. It's also like it's like a word. I know it has roots in Sanskrit, but like it's been anglicized or Latinicized or Latinized or whatever so much that I don't even know. Is it? I guess it comes from something along the lines of like palanquin or palki or something like that, but I don't know.
I don't
what
know.
It has become. Okay, so it doesn't matter this litter thing because like it's palanquin. It's a better word than litter, I think. So
right, that's true. Litter just makes me think.
We could just call it like
cats.
a palki, and that's what it is. So
yeah, cute.
Okay, so they're in this thing, and it's like really only meant for one person because what is happening is that Tyrion is being smuggled out so that nobody really knows that he was there. But of course, as Tyrion points out, all of Illyria's servants know that he was there. And Illyria's like, oh, don't worry, I trust them. But Tyrion's like, I don't. So the whole thing is they're going to meet this guy called Griff, who's going to take him to Volantis, from where they're going to go see Dany. Like, that's the plan.
That's I think convoluted.
Illyria's not going on the whole trip. He's just going to, I think, where Griff is. Yeah. And then he's going to hand Tyrion over, and it's going to be this whole thing. And Tyrion's like, okay, why would a Magister of Pentos give a fuck who wears the Westeros crown? Like, right?
Yes.
What are you gaining from all this? And Illyria's like, I'm sure she'll be very grateful and all of that and yada yada yada. But then he also does some really creepy reminiscing where he's like, oh, when she stayed with me, I totally wanted to fuck her, but I knew that was stupid, so instead I fucked somebody else to get it out of my system.
Dude, this was so disturbing.
Which is not even the most disturbing thing he says in this paragraph, because the next thing he tells us is that Viserys tried to rape Daenerys the night before her wedding, but was stopped by guards that Illyrio had placed outside her door. So, lovely.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah. How can a person be just so
how can somebody in death, every single time they're mentioned, make me hate them even more? Like, every single time since he's died, like, there has never been a single moment where we've learned, like, anything remotely okay about him. Not even good. Just, like, okay. And also, remember when, like, he wasn't dead yet? And I was like, maybe he can have a comeback era. That was crazy. Remember when I just wanted redemption for everyone in book 1?
I like to forget those days if I can.
Yeah. I didn't know the half of it. Like,
oh yeah, no, it's okay. I'm just joking. Like, it was very entertaining to me at the time.
But it's also interesting because right in that paragraph, like right at the end, he's like, if I hadn't taken the precaution of posting guards on her door, Viserys might have undone years of planning, which is interesting. So
yeah, do tell me about that.
So that kind of, like, I think adds to our theories of, like, Varys and Illyrio were just kind of like biding time until they could like put this into like they were and like, oh, what's his face, like Martell, and like that this was like, this has always been a thing, like it just kind of further confirms it, like all of our suspicions, and then what we've learned from Martell, that like, oh yeah, we've been planning this, so damn, okay, years of planning, I see you. But also before that case, so they're taking the palanquin, and okay, and Tyrion's kind of like, dude, the quickest way to go is by sea, and he's like, yeah, but you know, you got pirates, like we're trying to smuggle you out of here, like blah blah blah, but like, I don't know, this just all felt really long and unnecessary. I don't know, because like he smuggled him on a ship this way. Why can't you just, you know?
Like, take another ship? Yeah, why take this route overland?
And also, why does Illyrio have to, like, why can't Griff come? Like, why is Illyrio, like, personally, like, delivering Tyrion, you know?
Good questions.
I don't know.
Yeah,
the vibes
I
are
don't have answers to any of those.
The vibes are just weird, and I don't know what to think of it.
Well, keep picking up on it, and maybe eventually we can thread the vibes together into some kind of...
Sure. Some kind of blanket for our palanquin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, one of those, like, you know, the weather blankets people make.
Oh yeah,
like, so that you can see trends and stuff.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, we're going to Volantis. Griff is gonna have like fresh forces and sufficient ships there to carry Daenerys and all of her people to Westeros.
Biggest thing that feels like a logical inconsistency, tell me if I'm wrong, is just like, he's like, okay, so I'm gonna deliver you to Griff, and then where I deliver you, you and Griff are gonna meet Dany once she comes into Volantis, right? Like, that's kind of the vibes.
No, I think they're gonna travel more.
And then get to Volantis.
To Volantis.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, as much as I would love to welcome Dany to Volantis, like, I have to, like, get ready at Pentos for her to come back, right? Like, he's like, I gotta go home to prepare, right. You guys take care of her until then, right? Is basically what he's saying.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, he hasn't seen her in a few years at this point, right?
Right.
And, like, he wants things from her, and he's gonna want to be able to brag and be like, look at all of these plans I put in motion for you. Look at all the communication I've had with, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna want to eventually be able to take credit for all these things. So why wouldn't he just receive her and then, like, take her with him? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just feels fishy that he's not going with them.
Right.
Because to me, because with all the things that we end up learning in this chapter, if that's really my true intentions and that's where I'm at, like, you would receive her.
He does say, like, I, you know, like, he has plenty of money and stuff. Maybe he is doing this for, like, not a selfless, but maybe more for the realm type of reasons or something, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more of, like, even if he's not necessarily doing it for, like, money and, like, being master of coin, I still think he's doing it for power. And I think that he and I both know that that's just gonna be easier for him if he sucks up. Or not even sucks up, but, like, is there physically so that other people aren't, you know, taking all that over.
Yeah, but maybe he recognizes that at the pace he travels, which is very slow, that, like, it's just gonna slow down the plans.
Right. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But that was kind of my biggest problem with this plan, was I just was like, I don't know if you're doing this intentionally and you're scheming, or if you're being stupid. Like, what are you doing?
Right. Okay, I guess we'll find out, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he says, like, not all that a man does is done for gain. Believe as you wish, but even fat old fools like me have friends and debts of affection to repay. So, are his debts of affection to Daenerys?
I assumed he was talking about, like, Varys.
Oh, you know what? That's a good, yeah. Okay, forgot about Varys. Yeah, because then they immediately start talking about Varys, obviously.
Yeah.
And, like, how, okay, so Varys is initially from Myr, but he found himself in Pentos at one point, where he became, like, They would run this kind of like scheme where they would steal stuff from thieves and then have people pay them money to have their stuff brought back, right?
Yeah,
Like that's how it kind of
yes.
started.
Yeah.
And then eventually Varys started training what he at the time called mice, but now he calls his little birds. Upgrade, I guess. And
Dude.
so he would like enlist these little kids to steal like letters and stuff for him, and then eventually he taught them to read so that they didn't have to steal the letter itself. They could just steal the information, and it became like this whole thing. And Illyrio, he himself was a real hot bravo. Like, he is the one who that statue at his pool is modeled after, like, if you remember.
Dude.
So that's what he looked like when he was 16, I guess.
Okay, Illyrio. Okay, daddy, like...
He was the one who was, like, the client-facing side of this whole thing, and he gained so much respect and money that he was able to marry the daughter of, like, one of the Magister's, like, cousins or something like that.
Yes.
And so he got, like, a manse, and, like, he became a respectful lord or magister or whatever of the city.
Yeah.
And... oh yeah, and like so Varys in his own capacity also became well known as like the secret keeper and all of that. And that's when Mad King Aerys recruited him because he was paranoid about all of his people betraying him, right?
Yeah.
So we've talked about how like the Mad King was paranoid of a conspiracy against him, and how he thought Rhaegar was trying to overthrow him, and how, like, potentially that might be true because we saw Rhaegar talk to Jaime that one time and that kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just, like, asking you because I'm like, is this stuff that just exists in my head, or is this stuff that we've talked out loud about?
No, yes, we have. Yeah.
So this might add to that. Like, not I add to that, but this gives another dimension to that.
Yeah. You know, also with this, like, whole... sorry, not to keep harping on Varys, but, like, I know that Varys is like, I do things for the realm. Like, you know, at least that's what he said to Tyrion on occasion. But, like, I guess another part of his, like, sort of, like, restoring Dany and him having started off under King Aerys and stuff. So maybe it's also, like, he was raised by them. So maybe there's also that inherent loyalty that he feels to them, maybe? Like, the same way that he's,
I guess. But he was, like, a full-grown, like, I am the king of secrets and Pentos now. Like, he didn't necessarily need to go.
Right, but I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Because I can never figure out why Varys is Varysing, you know?
Fair. Okay, so Tyrion is then thinking about his own upbringing and how...
Sorry, Kate, hold on. Before when he's telling him, I'm sorry, I keep bringing this up, but like, you know, sometimes when you're reading, it doesn't click, but then when you're talking about it and looking at the pages again, it clicks. So as I'm talking to you, I'm coming up with more grievances that I have against this plan, okay?
Okay.
Tyrion is also like, something feels awry. Why are we going to Volantis, which is like the free city of the slave trade, when Dany be trying to abolish that? Like, why would Dany be showing up here? And also, like, currently Dany has no intentions of leaving.
But that they don't know that.
Even if she did, is it just like she's trying so hard to, like she's like, I'll go to the center of it, stop it there, and everywhere else will follow. But, like, I don't... You know? Anyway, okay, continue.
Okay.
I'm just... Yeah. I'm having a field day with this.
Yeah. There's Tyrion's thinking about his own childhood and how when he was a kid, he would pretend that he was some lost Targaryen princeling. And that was cute. And then, like, for one of his birthdays, he asked for a dragon, but nobody could get him a dragon. That's so sad.
It reminds me of the theory that he's Dany's time-traveling child.
Right. That theory. Have we... Hang on. I'm sorry. Yeah, there are various Tyrion is a secret Targaryen theories.
Oh.
And see, my brain is so I can't remember if there's another one that we've had enough evidence to talk about yet. You know what? I won't risk it. We'll come back to it later.
Okay. Note it down or something.
It's all theories anyway. Well, it's one of those prominent theories that I'm just probably going to blurt out at one point and you're going to be like, what? And I'm going to be like, what? We talked about this.
Okay.
Yeah, Illyria is like, yeah, I'm not made for travel, so I'm sending you to Daenerys in my stead, and, yada, yada, yada. Tyrion's admiring the Valyrian roads, which is kind of like giving, Roman roads. Mm-hmm. They had cement before cement, and then cement was lost kind of thing.
Oh my god, yeah.
And yeah, he's talking about how by now she will have left Marine, we must assume. And just the cackle, I cackle to myself.
Literally.
But
also Illyrio's gotta be getting regular updates. Like, he's gotta know that she's nowhere close to leaving. So I just feel like he's fully lying.
Yeah, but she has just gotten there though. Like, remember, this is
but that's what I'm saying, like, he's gotta know that she isn't about to go anywhere.
But it's so far away, even if, like, the moment she decided she was gonna stay, they sent messengers that they might not have gotten there yet.
Oh, because he's just thinking to when she did just keep traveling.
Yeah, because remember, ain't got no, WhatsApp. Like, they can't just shoot a quick email. Daenerys is staying in Marine now.
Yes,
like,
got it. Because every other city she would, like, kind of do the whole thing
and then go.
And
move on.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay, you're right. Thank you.
So I think it is literally just like they haven't gotten the news yet.
Yeah.
But Volantis has clearly gotten the news. So, like, Volantis is so much further east than Pentos or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, like, if it's gotten to Volantis, it'll soon get to Pentos, but hasn't quite. Mm-hmm. But speaking of news, one of the news things we kept hearing about in Feast was how the Golden Company had abandoned their contract and are now in Volantis and doing whatnot. Mm-hmm. So these are the forces that Illyrio talked about. So apparently he's got the Golden Company to back up Dany, which Tyrion is like, huh? First off, like, they're known to not break their contracts. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, well, some contracts are written in ink and some in blood. Mm-hmm. And then we get the whole backstory, which we know that, well, you know about the rebellion, but I don't know if you knew about the Golden Company super much, or I think maybe this information did come up in Feast.
Yeah, I think you just filled in the blanks that weren't filled because they were already so far filled. Like, we were just missing those last little bits. So I remember, I think you just kind of told me, or it came up. I don't know.
Yeah. So once the last Blackfire Rebellion was put down by Barristan Selmy when he killed the last Blackfire, the rest of, like, the people who didn't want to pledge back to the Targaryens fled to the Free Cities, and their leader was Bittersteel. And he didn't want them to all scatter and, like, be separated. So he created the Golden Company, which was basically just, a company of all the Blackfire sympathizers.
Dude, oh my god.
So Tyrion's like, okay, Blackfires hate Targaryens. Why would they back up Daenerys? To which Illyrio does have a pretty good answer, which is, like, they want to go back to Westeros, and this is going to get them there. So,
oh my god.
That's certainly something. And, Tyrion's thinking about how, they fought for the Myr or Lys or Tyrosh in their pointless little wars. The irony of coming from Westeros and calling somebody else's wars pointless little wars.
Right. The war, like, some of those, like, fights that you literally were, like, some of those battles that you literally led in, like, need I remind you of your contribution in the pointless wars? Like, yeah. Definitely.
So then, they're backing her up because she can get them back to Westeros. And he turns like, okay, sure. Basically. And then he's like, he knows that Barristan Selmy has joined Daenerys. Like, that news is, well, we know that because Barristan Selmy came from Pentos on the, like...
Yeah, Illyrio probably sent him, like...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, they probably had contact. But he's like, I wonder how Barristan's gonna feel about this, because he was the one who killed the last Blackfire, so
oh my god.
now he's gonna be fighting alongside them.
Dude, that is,
yeah, interesting stuff happening. And then they're Tyrion's like, okay, where are we passing through now? And they're passing through Andalos, which is the land that the Andals came from. So I, like, as a history nerd, I love fake history like this. So, you know, this is the land that the gods come from, yada yada yada.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah. And he, like, quotes something from the 7-pointed star, like, you know, whatever. And Illyrio is like, oh, I didn't know you were so pious. And then for the first time, I think, we learned that Tyrion had at one point wanted to be a Septon because he knew he couldn't be a knight.
Oh my god.
Did we ever hear about this before?
I don't remember this. This feels new.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, that was interesting. But, like, also, Tyrion, why didn't you, like, think Maester? Like...
Right, exactly.
But maybe he, like, his next thought would have been Maester. You know how you experiment. He was literally, like, a child.
Please, yeah. Yeah, he...
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably, like, hadn't immediately... Because I think he was probably also... Well, no, Maesters are pretty honorable, too. But I guess because, like, High Septon... But he could have just been like, I'll be Grand Maester, so... Yeah, I don't know. Because I was thinking maybe he was thinking honor, but those are honor... Like, both are honorable.
I think he's, like, 12, because he talks about how then, that was put to an end once I reached a certain age and fell in love. So, like, this is obviously when he met Tysha. Yeah. And when he mentions that, Illyrio pulls out his own sad love story, which is this, he has, like, a little locket with a photo of this, not photo, like a painting of this woman who has big blue eyes and pale golden hair streaked with silver. And she's from one of the pillow houses in Lys.
Yeah.
And he was just gonna, like, have her be a sex worker for him. But he loved her so much that he married her. And then everybody kind of lost respect for him because he was like, oh, my first wife had been a cousin of the Prince of Pentos. And now I'm marrying a sex worker. But it was all worth it. And he talks about how she died because of a plague.
Aww.
And then how he has kept her hands in his room.
That, yeah, what the fuck does that... Yeah. I don't like this man. The more I learn about this man, the more I'm like, why can't you just... I like you when I'm just hearing about you doing schemes in the background. Like, I don't need you up in my face telling me about yourself.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, definitely fucked up. And then Tyrion kind of... He says, what sort of gods make rats and plagues and dwarfs? And that was sad.
Yeah. Well, God works in mysterious ways.
But I also have another theory. Okay.
Yeah.
This Griff guy?
Yeah.
What if he's like Jorah or something?
Jorah?
Like, what if Jorah got back in touch with his one homie who's left, Illyrio?
Yes. So Illyrio's gonna be like, hey, Jorah, lead this army for Dany who told you to get the fuck out?
I don't know. But maybe it's like, well, you know, Sellsword, Westerosi. Because I am kind of like, okay, I think if it's...
Okay, I like that you're thinking.
Okay,
but
pause.
Let me just tell you, think a different way.
Wait, no, let me think. Okay, let me just finish my theory and then I'll think a different way. What I was thinking was, if Illyrio is telling the truth right now, and this is the plan that's going to go down, then I think maybe it's Quentyn. Okay? But...
Quentyn didn't talk about any of this.
Okay, pause. But if he's, like, lying and this is fake, then it's Jorah. And he's using Jorah to use his dirty work. Do his dirty work. Yeah.
Okay, first off, like I said, the Jorah thing doesn't make sense because why would Dany be... Also, Jorah was... Then he would know that Dany's not leaving, because, like...
That's true.
Jorah would have that kind of news, you know? And also, Dany wouldn't want to work with Jorah, like...
Well, no, but Jorah left already, right? Like, he didn't know if she was staying or not.
Okay, sure. But he would have been like, oh, Dany sent me away. And then Illyr is going to be like, oh, the guy she sent away, I'm going to put in charge of the army that I'm going to offer to her.
No.
Okay,
Sorry,
so there's...
no. Hold, no, pause. No. I'm saying it's Jorah in the circumstances that he's duping Tyrion. That this is, like, some sort of ruse, and, like, he's gonna get Jorah to, like, take Tyrion. Like, because basically what I think...
Take Tyrion and go where?
That I don't know. But, like,
okay.
Jorah's, like, his, like, little minion now, is what I'm saying. Because he ain't got anywhere to go, so now he's come back, and he's Illyrio's little minion.
Okay, and then how is it Quentin? Like, we were literally in Quentin's head right after this.
That I don't know. I just couldn't think of anyone who it could be.
Because, like, Griff, if you remember, is going to travel with Tyrion to Volantis, and what's his name? Quentin is already in Volantis. Did I say Valerian? I don't know. I meant Volantis at some point.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I just couldn't think of anyone who it could be, so I just kind of went with Quentin.
All right.
Because I don't know anyone else, like, in that area. Like, it could potentially...
So there's no way it could be a new person. It just has to be somebody you already...
No, okay, pause. I'm saying, I'm just theorizing if it's not Griff. It can also just be a guy named Griff, and then we get to know him.
Okay.
But I was just thinking, if this is not Griff, who could it be? And those were the options I had for you.
Okay. All right. Sorry for being so dismissive.
It's okay.
Let's move on. Dismissed. They're talking about the lands again and how, like, all these cities are ruins. And they're like, yeah, well, this is where the Dothraki people charge through when they're coming to the free cities. So, like, nobody wants to set up shop here. And Tyrion's like, yeah, well, you guys pay them off. Obviously, they're going to keep coming back. You should actually just kill them. And what's his name? Illyrio is like, yeah, well, paying them some money is cheaper than fighting them, so we're just gonna keep doing that. Yeah. And Tyrion is, of course, remembering Tywin's wisdoms at this point. Yeah.
Give gold to a foe and he'll come back for more.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't super disagree with that, but also, like, yeah, maybe it's okay. I don't know.
But then Illyrio's immediately like, yeah, the same dad that you murdered. Because it's like, you're gonna try and use your dad's wisdoms against me? Okay, but he said sellswords will not stand against Dothraki screamers. That was proved at Qohor.
We've heard about this. It's like when we hear about the bravery of the Dothraki, like, it's like, oh, they tried to fight them off, but they killed everybody. It's kind of one of those, like, legend stories.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so then Tyrion's like, oh, so your sellsword Griff is also gonna be losing to them? And he's like, no, Griff is different. And then the way he's different is that he has a son he dotes on called Young Griff. So creative.
That's kind of cute.
And there never was a nobler lad. So somehow we've transitioned from talking about Griff the sellsword to Young Griff the sellsword's son, who's noble.
Please stop. This is so
Illyrio's
funny.
like train of thoughts.
Illyrio really is very old man core, and I love that for him. And I support him for that.
So, yeah, Tyrion's just kind of, I don't know if he's enjoying the scenery is the way, but he's, like, noting all the places that he's passing through, and he's like, dragons, like, roam these lands, and here I am, you know? But also, Tyrion, like, dragons were in King's Landing. You never thought about that?
You never thought, true. Yeah. See, but it's different. It's like the thing of, like, when you're on vacation, you're instantly more like, ooh, look, there's grass in a field and there's roses. And it's like, well, there's probably roses at the park near your house, too. Like, not actually, but, like, example.
Yeah. And then they've passed this huge sphinx. It has a dragon's body and a woman's face, and it's like, you know, Tyrion's like, oh, it's a dragon queen. It's a good omen. And then Illyrio's like, yeah, but her king is missing. And apparently this was one of, like, those monument things that the Dothraki, like, transported back to Vaes Dothrak. Because do you remember from the first book, like, they take trophies of whatever lands they plunder, kind of thing. So they moved a whole ass sphinx there.
Dude.
It's like, Yeah. Honestly, though, I feel like if some of these rich assholes could, they would totally, like, take one of the pyramids and move them into their backyard, you know?
Real.
Like, it's given that.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my god.
But yeah. So he's, he's just, like, yeah, I guess, that's, oh no, when Illyria says that her king is missing, Tyrion thinks that is an omen too, though Tyrion thought, but not as hopeful of an omen. So if Daenerys is the queen, who is the king? I don't know.
Like, who's the missing king in this? Like, yeah. I didn't quite follow this train of, like, I don't know what he was sort of getting at.
And then he somehow, like, he, like, drinks a lot, and then because he had been thinking about Tysha, he then, like, falls into thinking about Shay and that song that one singer came up with, you know, Hands of Gold.
Dude,
song.
Shout out the guy who Tyrion made into soup.
Covered it. No. And then there's not only is he thinking about the song, then he starts, like, reminiscing about the moment that he killed her.
Dude.
And is like, oh, I can't remember if I kissed her at the end or didn't. I was like, Tyrion.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to remembering killing his dad and the whole wherever whores go thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just, yeah, he's not over it.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, I remember last time I harped so much on how he doesn't think about Shay. So I guess George R. R. Martin was like, fuck you, Harmit.
Here he's thinking very vividly.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy that.
He also has, yeah, I think the last thing I want to say from this chapter is he has his dreams make me laugh. He has one where, like, he dreamed about Dany, and he was, like, swearing his allegiance to her, but she thought he was Jaime, so she fed him to her dragons. Which I was like, valid fear to have, Tyrion. You're literally a Lannister trying to go, like, sneak up in her kingdom.
Yeah.
And then he also dreams of, like, fighting, he, like, dreams of, like, killing his dad and killing Jaime in, like, a battle side by side with Barristan, with, like, the dragons. So this is just, like, his, like, revenge fantasies about, like, what he's gonna do when he gets with Dany and, like, what they're gonna be up to. And, like, I don't know, it's just interesting, though, because I bet you he's gonna get there and it's not gonna be like this.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of getting there, okay, so they will make it to wherever this young Griff is, yes, no?
I think so.
Will young Griff and Tyrion get along? Like, how will that go?
I think it'll be, like, okay. Like, I don't think young Griff's gonna be, like, he ain't gonna be no Podrick, but, like, I hope he's
young
not.
Young Griff? Okay, I was asking about Griff, and here you are. Being Illyrio.
No, I think that, like, well, I don't know, is his kid coming along?
Well, I imagine. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I think that him and Griff, I don't think Griff is gonna be, like, a Podrick. Like, I think he's just gonna be some guy, like, probably not super kind, but I hope he's not the worst. I think he'll probably be fine. He might be a little greedy, you know?
And so they will go to Volantis. Will they get to Volantis?
I think so. I think that they will.
And, okay, you were theorizing about who this Griff is. Like, who is this Griff? Why does Illyrio trust him? And, yeah, what's his role in all this?
Maybe Griff is, like, okay, off the top of my head, maybe he's someone, like, high up in the Golden Company, and, like, he really wants to be involved, and, like, he's on Dany's, like, or maybe he's just some guy, like, from, like, cause I don't know, like, how does Illyrio know him? What does he do, like, in his daily life? Like, is he just an Illyrio pawn? Like, does he have a job? Like, I don't know.
Well, Illyrio does say he's a sellsword, so.
Oh, LOL, forgot about that. Okay, yeah, so he's like a sellsword. Okay, I think he's probably someone from, like, the Golden Company. And then maybe we'll learn a little bit more about that. And then that can also be, like, our connection to, like, Quentin and, like, we gotta tie it all together somehow, you know?
Okay, once again, Quentin. How are you getting to Quentin.
You know, like Golden Company, Quentin's been off there in the East, doing God knows what.
Okay.
You know, like, he's been there his whole life. He's gotta have contributed to some of this at some point.
Wait, his whole life? What?
Not his whole life, like the few years that, like, Martell sent him.
Martell sent him to the Ironwoods in Dorne. They've just gotten to Volantis, like, a couple weeks ago.
Oh, wait, sorry. I'm thinking 4th book. I'm like, he's been here for a few years, bro. Okay, wait, yes. He is... Oh, yeah. Okay, wait, we're like a year behind. God, I keep forgetting about that. Okay, yeah, wait, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's why he's so disoriented and, like, struggling, because he's like, oh, I'm on a mission. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I knew that while I was
All right.
reading, but as we were talking,
Will
I
they
fast-forwarded
be-
again.
Okay, so they get to Volantis. Everything goes as planned. Like, they're all rearing to go.
Mm-hmm.
Dany is not getting, like, she is staying put for now. What do they do with that?
Like, oh, like when they get there and Dany isn't there?
Yeah.
Maybe they try to send her a message, maybe they try to wait for her, maybe they have to go into hiding until she can get there, like, they have to, like, disguise themselves
Hide a
or
whole
something.
army?
No, not the army, but, like, oh yeah, because they're bringing I think maybe they start, like, marching towards her, like, instead of waiting for her to get to them, like, they go to her. Can they, or do they have to
Okay.
cross, like, a river or a sea or something?
Well, that's the problem Quentin's facing now. They can either take the Devil Road,
Mhm.
which is treacherous, or they can try to hire ships, which I guess maybe the Golden Company has their own ships.
Yeah, but that would certainly be expensive. So, yeah, maybe you send, like, a few people forward to try and bring them back, and until then you just, like, have the army hang out, because it's not like you can, like, dispatch everyone, like, I don't know, bro.
Alright. Okay, alright. We're getting very far in the future. Let's, one step at a time.
Yeah. Like, I don't even know what's going on, like...
So, let's move on to the next chapter, which is Quentin's chapter, when we've already talked about...
Please.
Like, at first, guy gets one chapter, and you're like, he's part of every theory I've ever had.
Hey, I'm just really excited to
He's
finally...
the three-eyed crow.
I'm just really excited to finally meet him, okay? Like, he might be the
All right.
only... I feel like he might be, like, the only new POV we get, so I just kind of have to, like, soak it all in. Soak it all up.
Okay. Alright, so Quentin... Okay, so as much as you are excited to see him, he's not the most, like, personality-having type of person.
Yeah, he's kind of boring for sure.
Yeah, so he's, like, even... He recognizes it, so he's got this friend called Garrus Drinkwater, who is everything that you would think Quentin would or should be or whatever. So they've, like, because they look the way they do, they've kind of, like, switched roles. So Drinkwater is pretending to be, like, the merchant, and then Quentin is pretending to be his servant, so that, you know, it just sells the story a bit more. And they're at this ship called the Adventure, and they're trying to convince this captain to take them to Marine, and they've been having bad luck with this because nobody the fuck wants to go to Marine because there's war there. Like, why would you? And they can take the road, but the road is, like, even more treacherous than the sea, so there's just, like, they're kind of stuck in Volantis, and they've been here for a few weeks. And the Adventure seems like their, like, last option, and the captain is like, nobody wants to buy your wine, like,
oh my god,
just, like, no, not. But he does, when he hears that they'll pay 3 times the regular passage for everybody, he does agree to take them. But later on, when they get together and talk, and they're like, yeah, actually, he's probably gonna rob us and then kill us. Because no way he's going to Marine. So, even though this guy agrees for the time being, it's not actually an option. They just, like, agree to be like, yeah, tomorrow morning, we'll see ya. Later, bye.
Oh my god.
And then they're, like, walking through the city. Not walking, they're taking, like, these, what are they called?
The
Like carts pulled by not horses but elephants.
yeah, what does he say? Hathe.
Sure.
Yeah.
So these elephant carts, they're like a status symbol. Like if they had been walked, the innkeeper warned them, like if you walk everywhere, like nobody's going to respect you. So you better, take a ride. And they're passing through the city, and it's like it's cool. Like we get descriptions of like a whole new city. The first time we've ever been in Volantis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's this harbor city, and it's but there's a lot of rampant slavery in Volantis,
Mm-hmm.
and each of the enslaved people are marked with tattoos kind of in relation to the kind of work they do.
Yeah.
So there's like this whole culture. I mean, I don't know how far we really want to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a big major port, so there's all sorts of merchants from literally everywhere in the world, and everybody's mingling, and there's a lot happening in the city. And so his friends and him are just like, okay, what should we do? Like, maybe we should buy a ship. But then they're like, who's gonna sail this ship? Like,
oh my god,
we don't know how to sail no ships. And Quentin is like thinking about his friend, the Maester. His name was Kedri, right?
Yeah.
And he knew, like, he was a Maester. He knew a bunch of things, but now, like, he's dead. He died. How did he die?
Because of the people who snuck up on them and...
Right. Yeah, so Kedri died and this one other guy died, but basically he's wishing that he had him there because with the languages and help, and like he would have wisdom to offer.
Yeah.
And some kind of advice on what to do now because they're stuck here.
Dude.
And he's worried, like, oh, we gotta get there, and we gotta get there before Tywin Lannister gets there, which was funny, because, like,
right.
Speaking of slow traveling news.
Right. Oh my god.
Yeah, they're just, there's, like, sex workers that are offering their services, and he's like, I don't know how to be around girls, and he thinks about this crush he had on Yennis, one of, like, or is it Innis because it's Ironwood? I don't know. I think it's Innis.
Yeah.
One of the daughters of Lord Ironwood, but now she's married with some other guy and has a bunch of kids and all of that.
Oh my god. And he also, like, before that, and a few times afterwards, he calls Dany the most beautiful woman in the world. I'm like, what, have you seen a photo of her?
Right.
Like,
he does keep imagining her and then being like, yeah, if she is the most beautiful woman in the world, why would she want me? And I was like, oh.
Yeah. But then he's like, okay, she'll want Dorne. Like, at least I got Dorne for her. And I'm like, yeah, but, like, that's not you. That's your sister. Like, did you miss the news?
Right, but I think it's, like, to seal the alliance with Dorne. You gotta marriage it up.
I know, but I just don't, like, because just, like, with Ariane's worries about, like, are you just gonna give it to my brother, you know? Like, I just don't like him being like, I've got Dorne for her. Like, I just don't like the vibes of that, you know? Even if that's not what he means.
Fair enough. And there's traffic. It's a very populated city. I don't know. I keep seeing like random things. There's like not much. There's what are they doing? Oh, there's somebody selling like fish and stuff, and it reminded me of Arya and Braavos selling her daily catch.
I do love these little, like, our beloved characters just all ending up in the free cities.
Right, but very far away still.
Yeah, but like just like they all end up like going on a little adventure.
Right. So then they pass these I don't know, these Windblown. Windblown are like a company of sellswords trying to recruit people to go fight on behalf of Yunkai. Yunkai has hired them to fight against Daenerys, which is not great, but you know, they're like, "Hey, come with us." And Quentin's like, yeah, I don't speak whatever High Valyrian. Can we talk in Westerosi? And they're like, yeah, it's cool. I'm a wine seller. And oh no, he says, I'm a Dornishman and my master is a wine seller. And this guy's like, oh, well, you've got a master? Well, why don't you come be your own master and come fight for us? And win glory and money and all of that stuff.
Oh my god.
And Quentin's just like, okay, whatever, dude.
Dude.
So they pass through as they're being mocked for, like, being cowards for not fighting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go up to their rooms, because what's his name? Oh, Archibald Ironwood. That's the guy they keep calling the big man, because he's pretty big. And
Every time they said big man, I just thought of, like, you know, when it's like, my man, or like, or like, you know, when people will, like, affectionately be like, big man, like, I just was thinking, it felt like such a modern term for them to use that it made me laugh every time. Because that's, like, something I feel like bros will say to each other now, like, hey, big guy, like, you know, like, it just felt very modern of them. Like, it was just funny.
Well, it was Cletus who named him the big man, and it was a well-deserved name. Arch was 6.5 feet tall, broad of shoulder, huge of belly, with legs like tree trunks, hands the size of hams, and no neck to speak of. What? Hands the size of hams? That, I don't know if that's a comparison that comes, like,
right.
Authentic. What's the word?
Like naturally, like, that's what you think
naturally,
of when you're, yeah. I don't think so, yeah.
Interesting. But, okay, so they're giving him the news, like, oh yeah, we found this guy, but he's a smuggler, and he's definitely gonna kill us, so we can't do that. And then Arch is like, well, we should take the road, like I said, because he does not like the seas. He does not fare well on sea journeys. So he's eager to take the roadway, but obviously it's called the Demon Road. It's way too perilous, which I want somebody to take the Demon Road just so we can see exactly what's going on there.
I want to see what's up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so Quentin's like, well, we have to, like, go for it. Like, what else? Is there there's no other way. And this is when Garrus is like, well, I might have another way. It's just come now to me. It has its risks and is not what you would call honorable, I grant you, but it will get you to your queen quicker than the Demon Road. And Quentin's like, okay, I'm all ears. And that's where we end the chapter. So what do you think this way is?
I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Like, the only thing... Like, maybe it's, like, a different ship, but it's, like, not honorable. Like, but what, like, I guess my thing is, I feel like most of these ships aren't honorable, because they're all operated by enslaved people, so, like, how could it be less honorable?
Why would it have just now occurred to him?
I don't know. I don't know.
I really want you to know.
Okay, I'm just thinking, I don't know. I literally have no idea.
Who did they just pass on the street?
The big guy? Like, the guy?
The guy's in their room. Who did they pass on the street?
I don't remember.
The Windblown, dude. The Windblown are going to go fight Daenerys.
Oh my god. Fill their rings before they sail. Oh, these are, like, the people from, like, the people that the Yunkai envoy hired?
Yes, what did we just talk about, like, literally 2 minutes ago?
Bro, I'm telling you, everything in these chapters leaves my head. Everything in these chapters leaves my head as we say it.
Okay.
Damn.
Well, they're going to go fight on behalf of the Yunkai against Marine, so therefore they are going to...
Oh my god, Marine!
There you go.
That's crazy. Dude, how's he gonna win her over?
Yeah, that's why it's dishonorable, because he would be fighting against her to get to her.
Oh my god. Okay, T?
Yeah, I felt like this was, like, I think if you were not as tired or exhausted or sad or something, you would have put this together. Because this is one of those ones that, like, I feel like everybody just puts together.
Yeah.
But maybe there's, like, plenty of people that don't put this together, so maybe I'm overestimating. Anyway, so yeah.
That's wild.
Okay, so given that, what are your theories?
Hold on, I need time to come up with something. Okay. I think... Oh my god, what if they win? Then, like, the whole plan is kaput. They can't win. Okay, I can't predict that. They just can't win. It just, like, kind of tears down the whole, like, plan. Well, maybe it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe they, like, they're able to, like, I don't know, like, kill a bunch of people, and, like, Dany's side is the losing side because they, like, lose more people. And, like, maybe, you know, she kind of has to, like, let them just kind of, like, reinstate slavery, like, the way that it was, because, like, people be dying, and, like, you know, like, it's, like, people, like, lives are being lost, so she's gotta give in, sort of thing.
Okay.
But then, like...
But how does that relate to, like, Daenerys, Quentyn, and that whole thing?
Well, then she's definitely not gonna want Quentyn. Because, like, you were part of the side that, like you guys want, like, you were actively fighting. But I guess he could, like, try to be, like, a mole, you know? Like, try to just sort, like, be like, okay, I will...
Or desert.
Yeah, like, desert, like, be a mole, like, not actively, like, be like, I'm not gonna, like, do any harm, whatever. Yeah, because I feel like that's, like, best case scenario for him.
Alright, so next time we catch up to Quentyn, what's gonna be happening?
They're gonna be fighting, and he's gonna be trying really hard not to kill all her people, but it's not gonna be going very well, and then they're gonna be like, okay, how do we get directly to Dany? And then they're gonna, like, go try to find, like, Resnack or someone. Like, they're gonna try and get an audience with Dany. Or maybe, like, somehow, like, because I don't know if this is how it works for them, but you know, like, in Westeros, when they would, like, go somewhere and they'd be like, surrender, or else you're besieged, or, like, that sort of vibe. Like, maybe it's, like, in that in-between period, they can sneak off and try to get an audience with Dany or something.
Okay, cool. Alright.
Or, like, try to
I don't know
like,
if I have any other...
Like, try to warn her somehow and, like, get some good favor with her.
Right.
Because this is real bad.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think I have anything else for you to predict on unless you have anything to add yourself.
I think that's everything. Really, the only other thought I had on this chapter was that this guy has no riz. His companion be doing everything for him, and he's just kind of chilling. Like, yeah, those were kind of my only other thoughts on this chapter.
Alright. What do you think Daddy's gonna think of him?
I think Danny's just gonna be like, the fuck? This is who the Martell sent me? Like, I think that she's gonna be a little bit, like, not insulted, but, like, even if he wasn't on the opposite side, like, fighting against her, even if he wasn't actively doing that, I feel like she still would kind of talk to him and be like, why did they send you to treat with me? Like, you know, like, but, like, I do think that she's gonna
no
want...
wedding bells in their future, then?
I don't think so. I think that she's gonna try and secure that alliance without actually having to marry him. Because also, she's got a lot of, like, prospects for dragons now, you know? Like, she can't just be out here accepting everybody who applies, right? Like, so I think she's gonna try and maybe work out something else, like, because also, like, there is that connection there where, like, they're gonna want... This isn't, like, Winterfell or something, where, like, they're not gonna already want to support each other, you know? Because, like, they can be like, we've been plotting to support you this whole time. So, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's kind of that natural connection there that maybe they could try to leverage. Like, because they are on the same side. Like, they want her. She wants/needs their support. So maybe they can work out something else.
Yeah, okay. Well, want to move on to next chapters?
Yeah. Yeah, like the Elia connection, you know? Of most of all. But yes, let's do next chapters.
We're gonna read 3 chapters again next time.
Bro, I can't! It was so hard reading 3! Look at how much I missed!
We're reading 3, I'm sorry.
Fine.
Give me your hopes and predictions.
Okay, I want to see Jon, obviously. I want to see Dany, obviously. And then give me a new person if there is one.
Okay, in what part of the world? Can you at least give me that?
Give me someone in Bravos. I want to see Arya again. We can't be done with Arya, right?
Okay. So, we're reading chapters 7, 8, and 9 next time.
Okay.
Chapter 7 is Jon.
Yay! Okay. What was he up to?
I don't know. Plotting.
Oh, yeah. Right. The Melisandre stuff. Oh, yeah. The Melisandre stuff. He basically just had a big, long conversation with Stannis and Melisandre. Okay. So, maybe we'll see... Oh, maybe we'll see more of his, like, plans of, like... Well, maybe he'll send Sam, Maester, Gilly, and them off. Maybe we'll see, like, more of his plans, like, how he plans to, like, repopulate those castles and stuff, like, and all the things. I don't remember what else he's up to, though.
That's okay. After Jon, we have, once again, Tyrion.
Okay, I am afraid for Tyrion. Like,
okay.
I don't know, because the thing is, like, because, Kay, they get there, Dany's not there, right? So now they gotta, like, reconfigurate. Is reconfigure? I was like, reconfigurate is not a word, is it? They gotta reconfigure now, right? So, like, what are they...
It's giving Farha nitrate.
Farha nitrate? What is that? Is that a meme?
Quality reference.
Is that a meme?
In 3 Idiots.
Oh, because his name... Yes, okay, because that's one of the guys' names.
Yeah, because he, like... Okay. Very big tangent. Everybody, go watch 3 Idiots. Best movie
Great
ever.
movie.
But he's explaining how people learn and how they're taught and stuff. And he, like, just puts up 2 random words on the thing and is like, okay, somebody find me the definition of these. And everybody, like, starts rushing to, like, be the one to find it.
Right.
And it turns out he just took his friends' names and just added technical jargon to them.
Oh my god. I want to rewatch that movie. It's been so long since I've rewatched it.
You are a disgrace.
Damn. Oh my god. No, I should rewatch it soon. Yeah.
Okay. So Tyrion?
Wait, yes. Wait, what was I saying he was doing? Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Tyrion. Oh my god, we literally just saw this man. I think he is... Okay. Oh, I know what I was saying. I'm worried about him, because what are they gonna do when Dany's not there? And also, like, I know that we're not in Westeros anymore, but still, like, Tyrion is a wanted criminal. So, I don't know, like, I feel like he's gonna have to, like, what does he do? He has to, like, go into hiding or, like, go disguise himself, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it'll be like we get there. Well, first we have to meet this guy. What's his name? Gil?
Griff.
Gil. First we have to meet Griff, and then it's like, okay, Dany's not there. We need to figure out what we're doing. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, it's Volantis. Like, I don't know.
Will they get to will they get to Griff and then get to Volantis all in one chapter?
I guess not. Okay, they'll just meet Griff, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, chapter 9 is my man Davos.
Yay! Oh my god, yes. Okay, I still don't believe that he's gonna die, so here we are.
Okay.
Okay, god, oh yeah, he's gone off to someone in the north. Or no, he was at the other, one of the other castles, right?
Eastwatch.
Yes, okay. So he's off at the castle. I think he's gonna be trying to, like, do Stannis's doing, like, be like, oh, we gotta get these castles, like, we gotta get these castles going, and then, like, people aren't gonna be listening to him, and then he's gonna have to, like, figure out what's going on. Oh my god, maybe we'll finally meet Eastwatch and, like, stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Slay.
that's everything then. So, everyone, you know to email us. Our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at popculturesymposium, and of course, join the Discord. The links to everything are in the show notes. So, that's everything we've got. Until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.